Number 1. This is a story that I've rarely told anyone because it was the closest thing to a supernatural occurrence I've ever personally experienced, and it scares the shit out of me till this day. I have a little brother. He's 3 years younger than me, and when I was in 6th grade, we were home alone during the summer. Yeah, we were just playing around as brothers do, wrestling around. Well, nothing out of the ordinary really. I ended up chasing him into our parents' room, and we were throwing stuff back and forth at each other, having a little fake war across the bed. You know, kid stuff. It popped into my head that it'd be funny to scare him by shutting off the lights. There were no windows in our parents' room, so with the lights off, it's pitch black except for whatever light creeps in from under the door. I retreat to the door and decide at the last second that it'd be funnier to leave him in the room, turning the light out as I passed, and close the door behind me, leaving him in the darkness, alone. You know, maybe scare him a little bit. So I did it. I shut the door behind me as I turned the light off and left the room, turning around to listen to him as he panicked and wanted me to come back in. But he didn't. What are you doing? I heard him say. Yes, he thinks I'm still in there, I guess. He didn't see me leave the room. I keep listening. Jacob, what are you doing? You're freaking me out. Please, stop. That's odd. I wonder who's he's talking to. I keep listening. Jacob, I'm not joking. Get away from me and turn the lights back on now, or I'm telling Mom that you're scaring me. What the fuck? Get away from me? Did he just say, get away from me? Laughing, I yell through the door to him. Dude, I'm not even in there. He screams. Loudly. Like he'd been stabbed or something. I mean, a blood-curdling scream. I freak the fuck out and try to open the door. It's locked. I didn't lock the fucking door. Why is it locked? My little brother's still screaming, begging me to help him. Hurry, please! I'm panicking. I have no idea what to do. I'm like 13 years old and weigh 90 pounds. I can't bust this door down. My little brother is in trouble. I have to get him. He stopped screaming. I try the door handle again, and to my surprise it opens effortlessly. It's unlocked. I open the door and turn on the lights. I see my brother in the corner, crying. After some consoling and apologizing, I finally get him to explain what happened. He tells me when I turned the light out, his eyes hadn't adjusted to the light just yet, and it was just dark. After 20 to 30 seconds, his eyes start to adjust, and from the little bit of light leaking in from under the door, he saw me standing in the corner with my back to him. When he asked what I was doing, I turned around to him and started walking slowly across the room towards him. I kept coming until I was standing over him, looking down at him. He said he couldn't make out any features, just a dark figure with a shadowy face. He saw a hand extend out towards him and grab his shoulder. It was cold and very strong. It hurt him. When I opened the door and turned on the lights, the figure was gone. It just wasn't there. I never saw anything myself. My brother is now 23 years old. I'm 26. And to this day, he won't talk about this event. We have friends who heard the story through me and will tease him about it. He simply leaves the room, refusing to acknowledge it. He's admitted to me that even 15 years later, he's still bothered by what happened that day. He still has nightmares from time to time. He still doesn't have any explanation for what happened. Number 2. Growing up, there was this little girl who always freaked the fuck out of the other neighborhood kids. For example, she told all the girls that in the forest behind her house there were dead, bloody people. All the kids freaked out and told the parents, which resulted in all the dads doing a search in the forest only to find Hot Pocket rabbits and empty beer bottles. After that, all the neighborhood kids refused to go near her, including me. A few years later, my parents got a divorce. The day that the movers came to my dad's house to get my mom's stuff out, the girl comes out of nowhere and she tells me that Matt didn't like that my parents were getting a divorce. my dad ended up telling me that Matt was her imaginary friend that was often too physical. Even though I stopped being friends with her, her parents were still friends with my dad. Her parents told my dad that Matt could control the lights, even making the power go out one time. Matt also knocked on doors at night, but if he was ignored, the banging would just grow more intense. 2 years after my parents' divorce, my dad decided that he would invite the whole family over for a catch-up. I was begging my dad not to, but he said it would be nice. So when they came over, my dad said that I should show the girl my bedroom since I got a new TV. I show her to my room and she's acting normal and complimenting my room. I was still freaked out because she just sat on the floor while I tried to put a movie into my DVD player, and I shit you not, but out of nowhere, mid-conversation, in the most deadpan voice, she said, "Matt's here." At that exact moment, the lights flickered and I fucking ran out of my room crying. Her parents ran into my room and dragged their daughter out and went home. I refused to sleep in my bedroom for weeks. I haven't heard much from that family ever since. I heard that Matt still controlled the lights, but I don't know if he's still around. And even to this day, when the lights flicker or a bulb breaks, I still freak out. Number 3. I was about 11 when this happened, and it remains one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me. I grew up in rural Ireland, and our house was the last of 4 houses located on this country lane. I used to get the bus home from school every day, and ordinarily the bus driver would drop me at the top of the lane and I would walk the rest of the mile or so to my house. This day was no different. I jumped off the bus and started making my way down the road towards my house. I was about halfway down the road when I heard a car driving up behind me. I stood off the road on the grassy verge, and the car slowed down to a stop beside me. I didn't recognize the car at all, or the man in it, and I remember thinking instantly that something wasn't right. This is a rural area. Everyone knows everyone, and strangers stick out like a sore thumb. The guy rolls down the window and says, "Hey Karen, do you want a lift the rest of the way?" My name is not Karen, so I know for sure that this guy is up to no good. I tell him that my name isn't Karen and say that I'm grand anyway, I can walk. He just sort of nodded at me and didn't say anything else, so I just started walking on my way from the car. I was really nervous at this point. I didn't look behind me, but I hadn't heard the car reversing or driving away, so I just assumed that he was sitting there watching me walk. After a few meters, I look behind me and I see that he has gotten out of his car and is walking after me. I took off running up the road. I could hear him running after me, and it suddenly occurred to me that my parents probably wouldn't be home from work yet, and my brother, who was older than me, was probably still in school, so I would be alone in the house. That's when I started crying. I finally reached the driveway, ran up and around the back of the house and burst into the kitchen to find, Lord and behold, my brother sitting at the kitchen table, eating toast. He had skipped school for the afternoon, and at this point my heart felt like it was going to come through my chest, and I was so out of breath from running and crying that I could hardly even explain to him what was wrong except for that there was a man. My brother played one of the national sports in Ireland during his teenage years and grabbed a hurley, an Irish version of a baseball bat to simplify things, and he ran out with it to find this man at the bottom of our driveway. He went down to confront him, but the man took one look at my brother and Hurley, turned around and booked it out of there. We told the parents, who reported it to the cops, but nothing ever came of it. I don't know for sure what the man's intentions were, but I am certain that he meant to do me harm, and I think that I narrowly avoided an adoption. It makes me wonder just how many kids come across creeps like that and don't manage to escape. We only ever hear of the big newsworthy abduction stories, but I'm sure kids get stolen on a pretty regular basis, unfortunately. Thanks for watching. This is my second video on YouTube, and if you liked it, then please leave a like and a subscribe, and maybe even recommend it to a friend. It will help out a lot. If you got any ideas for a new video or got some stories to tell, please leave me a message or a comment, and I will surely check it out. So again guys, thanks for watching.